Bow wow.
Welcome to DogStar.
Each week we sit down with a star of hip-hop and R&B, and this week we're sitting down with Whitney Starbourne.
How you feeling?
Y'all? Feeling amazing. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming through. We've been fans for a long time, and this interview's been a long time coming, so we're pumped you're here.
And finally, right, we're here.
Yeah, excited to learn all about you, so let's go all the way back to the beginning. Were you
dive on in.
Born in Minnesota?
Yes, born in Burnsville, Minnesota, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So been here your whole life?
Whole life, spent a little time in the military, so I've kind of been all around the world,
Whoa.
but
Wow.
mostly in Minnesota, yeah.
Okay. I mean, we'll definitely get there.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
first in Burnsville, around the house, were your family members musical at all? Or what music do you remember being played?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. So I actually grew up in Prior Lake.
Okay.
And my mom says I could sing before I could talk. And I could dance before I could walk. I have 5 older siblings, and they all were into band, choir, theater, dance, all types of music
Are
and
you
art
the youngest
stuff.
of the 5?
I am the youngest
Or the
of
6?
6.
Excuse me, yeah.
Goes my sister, 4 boys, and then me.
Whoa.
So I was basically raised by boys.
But all of them were artistic. All of them were...
Yeah. They all had their main interests. 2 of my brothers were star football players. My sister was the theater kid. My other brother was the brains of the family, and the other one was just straight brawn, But we've all been some sort of musical, and it was kind of like a family rule, whatever this sibling did, you could do similar, but not the same. So when it came to band, we have my sister played the flute, brother played trombone, the next one tuba, the next one saxophone, the next one trumpet.
Whoa.
So I wasn't, or no, not trumpet, trombone.
Okay.
So I wasn't allowed to pick any of those instruments if I joined band. So I had to pick percussion because that was the next coolest thing on the roster to me.
And how old were you when that choice was presented to you?
I think 6th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, 6th grade, middle school, because I joined band in middle school. And then I got stubborn, and I was like, well, screw all of you. If I can't play your instruments in school, I'm just going to learn them on my own. So now I play that instrument along with their instruments, along with I think 27 other instruments on top of those.
Whoa.
Holy moly.
Bit of a music head.
No, that's
Yeah.
good. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that started even before 6th grade.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Again, your mom's saying you sung before you could talk, you were dancing
Literally.
before you could walk.
Yeah, I started taking voice lessons at 3 or 4.
Really?
Same with piano. It was very, very much a thing in my household. Cousins and everything, everyone had to take piano lessons until at least 16. Some forced to 18.
Whoa.
And was it through a family member, a family friend?
This is a family friend,
Okay.
yeah. The first family friend we went through taught all of my siblings. And then she kind of, had to retire after a few years. So I found another family friend that did my vocal lessons until I want to say 9th grade, when I found one that worked with other high schoolers and with other adults who could actually help me build more rather than just simple vocal lessons.
Interesting.
And that man saved my life. Shout out Daniel Greco. I love you.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Was either your parents musical then, or?
My dad, gosh, no. He can name some great hits for you, but don't ask him to sing. But my mom was in choir, and she played the flute as well. So mom's a little musical.
That's cool. Yeah,
yeah.
obviously it had an impact on all of you
Oh
guys.
my gosh, yeah. Yeah.
How cool to have a musical family.
Literally.
And can you relate to family events? Everyone kind of had to get up and do their own thing for 3 or 4 minutes, or was it more of a...
Yes.
At your own pace?
Yes, to an extent. At family Christmas, at least 3 cousins were forced to do some sort of performance, whether it was Jingle Bell Rock or a skit whenever we had Christmas at my grandma's house. And so as my older siblings, because me and my sister are 20 years apart.
Whoa.
So quite a gap there. So by the time I got to be forced into things, they weren't anymore. They were old enough to... The boys would go play poker with all my uncles, and then my sister would be with all the older cousin girls. But by the time I was forced to do a little skit, everyone else was pretty older.
Okay.
But yeah,
Nice.
everyone in the whole family was either musical or a comedian or something.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So you were singing young and
Yeah.
vocal lessons and everything. Do you remember the first song that you wrote? Because I'm sure it was very young then.
No, honestly, I didn't even consider making my own music until 2019.
Oh my goodness.
When I wrote Kids These Days, actually.
Yeah.
That was the first song I ever wrote.
That's
Not even any poetry, not even any.
I had like a little diary that I wrote poems in, but like the poems were like 4 sentences or 8 sentences. And it was like, I hate my life, you know, as like an angry tween.
Oh, right.
Other than that, I didn't really write too much. I was way too busy. I always have kept myself busy. That's my pro and my con, is I'm always overbooked with my life. I was doing band and choir on top of jazz band and theater.
Whoa.
And I was in 2 dance companies growing up on top of a professional dance, 2 dance studios and 1 professional dance company. And along with all the other activities I decided to do, like the anthem team, I was involved in too much.
Whoa.
So I never really had time. I never really thought of it. And even when I wrote Kids These Days back then, I still did not think music would ever be like a goal for me. I didn't know what my life would be. I wanted to be on Broadway, and I realized how hard it was when I came to graduating. I was like, I don't know what to do with my life, but I need to get out of this house. And that's kind of where the military came in, you know? And that's actually kind of what kicked me in the butt to be like, okay, let's focus on something that we like to do outside of work, because work is strenuous here and the military is not easygoing at all. And so music actually helped me get through that quite a bit.
Wow.
A lot more than people realize.
You had mentioned dance and theater moments ago.
Yeah.
Were you, it sounds like you were no stranger to the stage, the spotlight growing up.
God, no.
No butterflies.
No, I think I stopped getting, I mean, no, like everyone still gets stage shitters,
Right,
you know?
right.
I guess mine kind of toned down a few notches, like really, really young. I still get my little butterflies before, but every time I'm on stage, it's not even, some people will say like, oh, I feel like a whole different person. Like, I don't even feel like a whole different person. I just feel like a more free version of myself. Like, the world is my stage. Even if I'm on like a tiny stage, even if there's only a couple people in the audience, it's like all of my cares and worries have just gone away the second I step on stage. And that's like always been a thing for me. Yeah.
What was the first musical or play that you did?
First musical I did was Dr. Seuss. Goodness gracious. Oh, I'm forgetting what the musical is called.
Seussical?
Seussical. Duh. Yes, Dr. Seuss Seussical. And I was the sour kangaroo.
Okay,
And
okay.
the costume for that scared me. Literally scared me.
Was this middle school, high school?
High school,
Okay.
yeah. I did like church plays before high school, but they didn't have a super big theater program at the middle school I went to. It was huge in the high school though. So the second I got to high school, I was in there like swimwear. Every play, every musical, I was in it. I
Wow,
had to
nice.
be.
On top of band, jazz band, choir. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Always busy. I would get to school an hour before everybody else for my clubs and leave hours after everyone. Football teams would be done at a certain time and theater kids would still be there, you know?
Right.
Like, I was always doing an activity.
Can you recall any perhaps musicals or concerts you saw in high school that really impacted you?
Oh, goodness. I would say my senior year, the musical was Sister Act. And that musical will never, ever, ever leave my heart. I was blessed to play the role of Dolores Van Cartier, the lead.
Oh my gosh, senior year.
Senior year, yeah.
Wow.
And I have always, that and like if Princess and the Frog ever came on Broadway, which hopefully it does because I'm writing a screenplay of it right now. So
You heard it here.
you heard it here. But those 2 roles have always, always been my dream roles. And when I heard that we were doing that musical in high school, I literally cried. Like, we do the dramatic, like, okay, which musical are we going to do this year? And they have like a whole bunch up and then they take some away until we find out. And then it comes up Sister Act and everyone's like screaming and clapping. And I'm sitting there just bawling my eyes out. Everyone's like,
Oh my
what's going
gosh.
on? I was like, I want to be Dolores.
Yeah.
Like, this is my favorite musical. Just the energy that her character herself has brought so much to me as a person. She did not care. She was involved in the most crazy activities with her crazy man. I love my crazy man too, you know. And she ended up, and I kind of like the whole coming to Jesus story that she has, because I kind of had a coming to Jesus moment, you know, around the same time. I
Okay.
grew up in a very Christian family, lost my faith because I felt forced into it. And then kind of that musical actually helped me bring myself back into that faith.
Wow.
And so her story and my story, although hers is more dramatic because it is a play, it just, I felt like I could relate to her. And the
Totally.
confidence she always had. She didn't know what the heck she was doing half the time until like towards the end of her story. And she still pushed through and made the best of everything. And that is like inspiring so much to me, you know?
And so was that a fall musical, spring musical?
We do fall musicals at the high school
Okay.
I went to, yeah.
So when I don't want to assume that the military was set up in the lunchroom
N-
after the musical type
No,
of thing.
not
but
after the musical.
Not that dramatic.
But it kind of was
How did
almost that
enter?
dramatic.
Yeah, how did that enter it? Because right now you're on the road to Broadway. Your
Yeah.
senior year, leading the musical,
Yeah.
like
It was actually towards the very, very end of senior year. It was the everyone wear like your college day.
right.
So everyone had already picked colleges. I was still like one of the few kids that was like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Hadn't picked a
Right.
college, hadn't applied anywhere. I was just a mess. And it was weeks before school was out.
Mm.
There was multiple military tables. It was like Marines, Army, National Guard, Air Force. Literally everyone was there. And one of my friends went to talk to Army Reserves. And I just kind of stood there with her and they were like, do you want to join? I was like, absolutely not. Like, I could never see myself doing this. I do not have the strength for it. Walked by, all of our friends were saying hi. Half the guys in football were in choir. So I'd go to the football table, be like, hey, what up, guys? And they were like, oh, go talk to the military. Like, you should join. And they were saying it jokingly because they didn't think I could do it, you know?
Right.
And one of them told me, they were like, nah, she could never do that. She's too weak. And just because they said that, and I was that sassy and stubborn, I walked to the Marine Corps table of all tables and was like, hi, I want to join. And that's literally how it happened.
Oh my
Whoa.
gosh.
Yeah. Within weeks, I was enlisted and training, and they sent me to boot camp at the end of the year.
And how did that feel once you kind of had a bit more direction?
Terrified.
Right.
Yeah, I was terrified. Didn't know what in the world I was signing up for. It's very, not necessarily traumatizing, but as a woman being in the military, let alone in the Marine Corps, I think it's 0.003% of the military or of the Marine Corps is women, I believe. It's a
Whoa.
very, very small number of women. It's probably grown in the past like 3 years. But when I joined, I think it was 0.003%,
Dang.
which is not a lot of women.
No.
And a lot of women don't stay in very long because of what's happened to them in the military. And I unfortunately was one of those women. I only was in for 2 years out of my 4 I was supposed to be there. But I don't regret joining, like at all. You know, it taught me a lot about myself, taught me a whole lot of discipline that I needed real bad.
Right.
And I got to meet a whole bunch of people. I got to see the world. I lived in Okinawa, Japan.
What?
Like,
Oh my gosh.
not everyone gets to say they even went to Japan, let
Right.
alone live there.
Right.
And I lived on a gorgeous, gorgeous island. And they were just fascinated by a person of color. They're like, oh my gosh, your hair. Oh my gosh,
Right.
your skin, you know? I'm like, okay. And at the same time, it was also kind of weird to see like the cultural diversity there. They automatically assumed that any white person there was in the military. So they did not want them to come in their restaurants half the time.
Oh.
So they're like, nope,
Interesting.
you military men are messy. You get drunk and trash our bars. Like, no.
Right.
And that's why you'll hear a lot of trending like posts or whatever. Like, oh, I would never date a military man. Like a lot of girls will say that. It's because of the stereotype that military men are just drunks, basically.
Brutes.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. But I've met a lot of amazing people in the military. I made great friends. I made great music connections, actually,
Really?
when they
Oh.
transferred me to California.
No way.
So when I got out, I lived in San Diego, and I did some shows here and there in San Diego. Got to meet a lot of club owners. Got to like network, host, perform in those places.
Wow.
And the connections actually stayed strong enough that I think it was 2 years ago, I believe, I actually went back to California and performed a little bar right off the beach.
What?
It was super fun. I miss California so much. I cannot wait to take my husband and my kid there. I'm pumped to go back.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's awesome.
It's beautiful, yeah.
What a journey.
So it took away a lot of life lessons, it seems, and valuable connections from your tenure in the military.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, which of the lessons from the military do you think has helped you the most with your like music and entertainment career?
Oh,
definitely. It's something I'm still learning, but kind of being careful of who you can trust, kind of. And again, I'm saying as a woman, I don't mean to say it that much, but sadly, that's just how it is. But as a woman in the music industry, it's kind of the same as being a woman in the military. It's very hard to rank your way up in either career without getting accused of either sleeping your way to the top or not working as hard as everyone else, which is sadly just still how it is. And in the military, I actually got out and in as an E1, and I was supposed to get out of the military as an E3 or 4, but because of certain people trying to say as the least amount of things as possible for the respect of them, but certain people would just make assumptions about me in the military, and one of them just happened to be the person who was in command of me and made it impossible for me to rank up, so that by the time I did have an unfortunate situation happen to me and I started processing out, they just didn't care enough to even let me rank up further, because it took almost a year for me to process out, so I still could have ranked up then. They just didn't care enough. They're like, oh, she's just a girl. She's getting out. They just didn't care. And it's the same in the music industry. Like, even kind of, I took my musical hiatus to focus on family and stuff, because I just got married a year ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And in that hiatus, I realized how many people didn't want to call anymore, didn't want to text anymore, because I kind of wasn't at their beck and call to do whatever they wanted, you know?
Right.
I realized that there were a lot of people talking behind my back that, oh, I worked with this certain person, so I must have been doing certain things for this person and for other people through this person. And I kind of realized how my reputation was not necessarily being damaged behind my back, but being just stepped all over. And I stayed in my hiatus even longer. I was like, okay, I'll just take even more of a break and prove that when I come back, I didn't need any of that.
Well, we're glad you're stepping back into your musical roles. We're glad that you're here sitting down. We're sitting down with Whitney Starbourne.
Follow her at Whitney Starbourne on Instagram. Follow us, DogStar Podcast.
We'll be right back. Bow wow.
Wow, wow.
Welcome back to DogStar.
Sitting down with Whitney Starbourne, learning all about where you came from and what you've been through, and wild ride, but made it out the other side in California, making some music connections, and then back home to Minnesota.
Yes.
Who did you start working with first when you came back to Minnesota as far as music goes?
Or was it some of those California connects, just virtually?
No, it wasn't. When I came back here, it was kind of like finding things on my own. I've never had a manager or anything like that. I don't think I ever could, because of how stubborn and picky I am. And also how indecisive I am. So I'd like to manage myself. But I think the first people I made connections with was like AK and Cam Jones.
Nice.
And DJ Prophet actually helped me get a lot of shows. That's like one of my best friends right there. He's done a lot for me. I think those are kind of like the first 3 people that really kind of started helping me get on the map.
Nice.
But it was really just a lot of like, where are local shows happening? How can I sign up? Who can I get in touch with? Liz from Creative Minneapolis. She put me on to a lot of shows. Shout out Liz. Love you guys.
Yes.
And not only just shows that she had, she also helped me kind of find like other projects. I got into modeling a little bit. She helped me find people to network for that.
Cool.
Anytime I needed a photo shoot, she would be my girl, you know?
Right.
Yeah, she kind of definitely helped me out quite a bit. Her and AK, I would say, have been the two biggest helps in the city.
That's huge. Do you personally have any advice for someone who wants to enter the music space here in Minnesota?
I would say really just just look for open mics, you know? You're not going to get paid right away. That's the real of it, to be honest. You're not going to get paid right away. I'm still only getting paid for certain shows, you know, especially since I took my hiatus and I'm just now coming back. Not a lot of people are like, yeah, let's give you a couple hundred or that couple $1,000. They're like, who are you? Where have you been? Or they know who I am, but they're like, hey, where have you been? You're not trending right now.
Right.
So it's definitely, once you start, do not stop. Like, keep doing open mics, keep getting your name, keep making more connections with more people. Don't stick to the same place. That's one of my biggest things, honestly. It's great to have a strong connection with one person and repetitively do shows at their spot, but don't just do that, because Minnesota has a tendency to be very cliquey. It reminds me of high school quite a bit. Everyone has their friend groups. Those friend groups go to see each other perform, and they'll support only their friends. They will say they support other people. Like, oh yeah, I listened to your song in the car one time 3 months ago. I've come to one of your shows that you've ever done out of like your 500, but they don't even want to go outside unless they're going to see that specific person. So I say branch it out, and don't just do Minnesota shows either. There's so many easy ways to find even just Wisconsin shows. You know, I did a Wisconsin show, made a connection with someone who got me a California show.
Like, oh my gosh.
Branch out, do all the open mics, and do not stop.
Any early open mics? I know you had mentioned a few pillars of the hip hop community just moments ago, but any early open mics that you really dug?
I would say Cam Jones. Yeah, he would have it at the Music Cafe, and his other spot was also Red Sea.
Okay.
And he started doing them at Pimento's now too, which is a super cool spot with great food. But he tends to have shows that are really great for like either upcoming artists or artists who are getting back on the map, you know, really great opportunities for them. And he can help those people make connections. AK has really helped me make a lot of connections. He does shows not just at his location at the Red Sea, but also like in Wisconsin and stuff, and Superior and stuff. And he does his California and Vegas events too, you know. So if you're looking for more gigs, go to those people.
Very true.
Was it during this time that you wrote and or recorded Kids These Days, or was that still during your tenure in the military?
No, Kids These Days I actually wrote when I was still in high school. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I was in senior year, and that kind of, it wasn't really I wrote it in like a day or a week or something. It was kind of something that I was just adding on to throughout the year, kind of like a poem.
Before or after the musical?
This was after the musical.
Okay.
After the musical, during the play seasons. But it kind of was just poems here and there. And my mom actually was the one who was like, do you want to like record a song? Like, let's record it. Let's record your voice. And she didn't really know too much about the details. So we went on some random website, like a Reddit version of, I don't know, like finding local places to record. And it was in the middle of nowhere. All you could see around their house was like straight grass and corn. They had a super like earthy garage that I went into, and they had all of their music equipment set up. And he was like, just press these buttons and you'll be good. And I'm like, okay. So I just pressed the buttons, sang to it. And then he mixed it all and sent it to me within like a month, I think.
Oh, just the vocals?
Along with the beat that he actually helped pick. Because I told this old man, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is my first time ever doing anything like this. So he kind of helped me find a beat.
Wow.
And he's like, oh yeah, all my kids do music and I'm in a band. And I'm like, okay, go off, sir.
Nice.
Pop off. So it's actually recorded. It actually was kind of springish of 2019.
Nice.
And did it feel different after you recorded it compared to when you dropped it in 2022?
Yeah. Because in the moment, it was very much based off of the emotions that were happening at the time.
Mm.
It's a very deep song if you really listen to the words. And at the time, I literally recorded it and did not listen to it like ever again because
Just got it out of your system.
Yeah,
right.
It hurt to even think about what I just wrote or what I just sang. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it in my email years later. Had emailed it to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "What in the world is this?" And I listened to it, and I was like, "Wait, I remember this." And now listening to it, it kind of it's not really a sad song to me anymore. You know, it's like I used to have this problem, and because I actually sang about the problem got addressed. So now it's like things are way brighter in a sense because I got it out and actually forced people to think about their actions, you know?
That's so cool.
And so will you still listen to that song nowadays? Is that in your rotation or
Sometimes because of the vibe of the song it's not on my daily playlist, but it definitely shuffles through.
Okay, because we've talked to some artists who won't listen to it. You know, it'll just be I record it and I perform it. That's it.
And that's it. Yeah, no, I keep my music in my rotation partially because if I don't listen to it for a while and I have to perform it later, I will not remember the words. But also because I will never release a song that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm never going to waste time recording a song that I don't like. So if it's going to be put out, obviously I like it. So I'm going to listen to it, you know. Not like I love hearing the sound of my own voice because most people will tell you if they know me that I don't like listening to myself. But it's just the fact that it's a good song, you know? I'm going to listen to it just like I would listen to Alicia Keys or Beyonce, you know? I'm just going to listen to a good song because it's a good song.
Is it safe to assume that you crossed paths with Heem Wavy during this open mic period?
No, actually, when I met Heem, he goes by a different artist name now. That I do not know because I do not care. But when I met that person, it was when I was transferring out of the military.
Okay.
Kind of like getting to know like the party community, the club scene, everyone out there. And he actually was just kind of in a friend group that I was in. And some of that friend group actually made like a promo team. I cannot remember what the promo team was called, but they would throw parties at like big ballrooms and stuff like that, or like host club nights at like Casablanca and clubs down there like that, you know.
Crazy.
And so he was kind of just like here and there. And he's like, "Hey, I've heard you sing. You want to make a song with me?" And invited me to the studio. It was super awkward. Never hung out with him ever again.
No.
But have Down to Ride. That's the song I'm referencing.
Yes.
Right. That you said came out in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the first, 2, 3 songs that you ever
I think
made?
that was the second song I ever made.
Oh my gosh.
Which is insane. And my second song was a feature.
No. I mean, immediately after that, we got It's a Party.
Oh, yeah. And that was like a hit for the longest.
That's a great one. That's still on my playlist.
Like I loved that song for a minute. But as I'm kind of getting older and adapting into the role of like wife and stepmother now, you know, ignore the step because that's my baby. But I don't know, like that side of me, she's still there, you know. Whitney can still party. But I'm kind of like the opposite of Lotto. I'm really her and I do R&B, you know? I really have fallen into my more like, not really soft girl era, because I'll still, but like more, I guess, feminine, I guess you could call it. More like just focused on myself kind of vibe. Not really here for the party. I'm not here for the party. I'm here for life, you know? I guess that's the best way to put it, yeah.
Yeah, because, that's definitely a party song.
Yeah.
Was that one of the first songs that you performed on stage that you had wrote?
Yeah, actually.
Wow.
I performed that. I think the first time I performed it was at Creative. And I performed it quite a bit when I was in the group Street Keys. That was like everyone's favorite song. And we did that at that little bar next to Creative on the corner. Bullwinkle's, yeah. Yep. Did it at Bullwinkle's a lot. Did it at Red Sea a lot. Did it at Creative a lot. and it was my go-to for every single show.
Yeah.
And I think that's also kind of why I don't perform it anymore, is because I'm just so like, I feel like it's outdone. I feel like I perform it too much, but hey, people still listen to it.
I was gonna say, or if you were offered a gig where it's like you got to open with Issa Party and you got to do an encore of Issa Party,
right? I'm like, okay, I'm there.
You got it. You fly me out to Taiwan, we're good.
You got it right. If you're paying, I'm rapping.
Yeah, the people know what they like,
right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then the next song to come out then is "Ticket to Time," which is in 2022.
Yeah,
a bit more mellow. One could argue, not quite as hyphy as Issa Party.
Right. That was in California. I recorded that one as well. And it was just some like random person's house. It was another person's like engineer. Very horrible experience with that person. The song actually has too much auto-tune on it. Some people like that vibe. That is not at all how I wanted the song to be. Fun fact. But now that it's out there like that, I've kind of grown to like it.
Yep.
But this is why I say it's hard for the ladies, is because I went in, it was fine. My friend was there with me, but the second he left, I was made extremely uncomfortable in ways that I am sure I don't need to express on too much.
Right.
So I had to leave. And when I was able to leave, because it was almost that I was not allowed to leave.
What?
So I just got the song as is. So your girl has been through some things.
Yeah.
To say the least. Holy moly.
Your girl has been through some things, but yeah, fun fact, that song is not actually finished.
Interesting. I guess, would you ever consider doing like an acoustic or stripped down version of that, or just kind of leave it in the past?
No, I for sure would. One of my ideas that I'm kind of brainstorming right now, after all of my projects that we will talk about later, but I'm thinking sometime within like the next 5 years, I'll kind of just go back and do like a timeline of Whitney and do acoustic versions of like all my songs.
Nice.
That's kind of like something I'm thinking about doing, kind of going back and like, I guess, paying tribute to myself.
Yeah.
In a sense. That's kind of maybe a little idea.
I mean, that's kind of old school almost, 60s, 70s, where a band would release 3 albums.
Yeah.
But then their 4th album would be like almost like a compilation, like a catch up with Starbourne.
They would
like
tour
the best
that
of,
as well.
yeah.
Exactly. But
Best
then
of.
after that, they'd keep releasing
Best
studio albums.
Yeah.
And I like that idea. Do it.
And putting it all together, and
Yeah.
it would be a vibe for sure.
Because that's one of my biggest things. I want to play my own instruments on more of my songs. The goal is to one day never use a beat again. That's the goal, is that I will be the beat.
Wow.
That's the goal. We're getting there.
I mean, I can picture playing the grand piano, you know, opening the VMAs type of thing.
Yeah. I think one of my dreams is to be on stage and they're like, okay, she's been singing, she's been dancing, and then just randomly whip out like, I don't know, a saxophone in the middle of a song. They're like, what in the world?
Yes.
Like Lizzo is known for whipping her flute out all the time. I kind of want to be like a super, super extra version of that. Where like every show, you never know what instrument I'm going to pull out, In Houston, she just pulled out a saxophone. In San Diego, she just pulled out a trombone. Like, what the heck is she going to do this time?
Right. Each show you have 4 dancers walk up behind you with 4 different instruments.
Right.
And it's like,
you get closer to one. You get
What's
closer to
going
the
on?
other.
The crowd's going crazy. It's like,
Colder,
what? Piccolo
warmer?
today. Right.
Yeah. That's kind of like a fun idea that I'm hoping to do in the future.
Positive
That's so
visualization.
fun.
Yeah, you're manifesting it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems, larger and larger scale projects seem to be the theme too as we're going down, because there's a lot of singles. We got You Know You Want To, and then Brand New, another single in August of 2022. What's going on with that song? I hope not another bad experience.
Gosh, now Brand New is actually kind of like the song that gives me my own power, like any day. I could be in the worst of moods and Brand New is like the song. Because the storyline, I guess, of the song is kind of like the bad boyfriend kind of vibe, or like the negative relationship, getting rid of it, becoming a new person, not necessarily becoming your own person, not sometimes, just embracing yourself because you didn't in your relationship, That was like the storyline of when I wrote the song. But now I kind of see it as like not even just relationship wise. You can use it business wise in a sense and think of it that way. Like, okay, I just went through this negative experience with whatever this situation was. I'm going to play brand new. I'm going to think about, okay, this is what happened there. And this is how it can be better next time because I am better because of the situation, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely a song I still love and still listen to almost every day. It's definitely a crowd favorite. Everyone likes that song.
It's a hit.
Yeah.
What was like? Where'd you find the beat, or what did you? How does writing a song go for you?
Got about a minute before we got to take a break.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Honestly, it's spontaneous every time. Sometimes I'll be listening to the radio or my music's on shuffle and be like, I like this beat. Let me find something similar. Or I'll just be thinking of words randomly, or if I'm like pretending to rap along to like a Biggie song, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, that was kind of bars, and I just write the rest of it to it. You know, it's very spontaneous and random every single time.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Well, we're sitting down with Whitney Starbourne. You can follow her on Instagram at Whitney Starbourne. Is there any other socials that you're doing, or is that's the main?
Instagram, Facebook, really any social media platform. It's either Whitney Starbourne or Whitney Starbourne Official.
Boom, easy.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more Starbourne on DogStar, talking about what's on the horizon. We'll be right back.
Bow wow.
Bow wow.
Bow wow.
Welcome back.
We're sitting down with the one and only Whitney Starbourne.
Here on DogStar.
Working our way through the discography. Singles is the story.
Single City.
We're in 2022. We've got BFFL. Got Self Damage, which is one of the songs you brought.
Yes.
Well, tell us a little bit about Self Damage. What did it mean at the time, and what's it mean to you now?
It's kind of the same with like all of my songs. I find inspiration for all of my songs in like current emotions that I'm feeling, you know, current situations I'm going through. So Self Damage was kind of like one of those moments where I was like, cool, maybe all the bad things happening aren't always their fault. Maybe sometimes I'm the problem. That was kind of a moment that a lot of people struggle with, to say I'm the problem. You know, it's kind of one of those songs where I'm like, you know what? I know I'm the problem sometimes. And the vibe of the song, I kind of wanted to stick in the R&B lane, but kind of get a little artsy with it. And I feel like that one's kind of more like little neo, I guess, in a sense, you know, kind of artsy, little artsy-fartsy song. So I wanted to branch as well as still express the current feelings at the time.
Fun.
I mean, same exact day you dropped Woman, which again, heavy R&B.
Yes. Heavy R&B, but wanted to touch the little disco funk vibe. Needed to touch the disco funk. I'm actually now in a disco funk band.
Really?
Yeah, they're called the Disco Kings.
Hey.
Our first show is June 30th at Centennial Park. It's a free show.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome. Be there.
Be there.
Be there, be square. But yeah, I love disco and I love funk. That's kind of another goal. Touch every genre.
Yeah.
You know? Coming soon.
Oh, exactly. She keeps hitting.
And then, Woman, and then You.
Yeah.
Comes out. And towards the end of the year, boom, now we're in 2023. It's my birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a fun one.
That is a fun one.
Is January 26th your birthday?
January 26th is my birthday.
Hey,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I felt like all the birthday songs were like twerk songs. And I'm not really a huge twerker. Don't get me wrong, used to be.
I dabble.
You know, but I dabble, but I'm not really a huge twerker anymore. And when I'm like 38, I don't want to listen to or like and she twerk, or like, you know, I don't want to listen to those songs when I'm like 38. I'm not trying to throw it in a circle on the dance floor anymore and my back hurts. You know, I want a slow song that I can dance to my husband with, you know. So I was like, let me come out with a little slow birthday song. So yeah, the inspo for that.
That's
I like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Got the future in mind with that song.
Oh yeah.
I like that. I like that a
My
lot.
back's starting to hurt now, so I had to.
Exactly.
And then Stop By comes out. That's a single, 2023. And then same month, Deep comes out.
Stop by and Deep. We're done with AK at his studio.
Okay.
I think JTC made both of those beats.
Nice.
And AK and I kind of collaborated on the lyrics for that. And both of those were done within like 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was that kind of like you were mentioning earlier, that just spontaneity?
Yeah.
Inspiration hit and you had a mic right there?
Yeah.
and-
Honestly, he called me. He's like, I have a beat. And I hear your voice on it.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, on my way. You know, it's kind of that's Unc. That's how we do
Right.
it. He'll just call me and be like, "Kate, need you for this," and I'm like, "Cool, coming."
I like that.
Or I'll be there next week. You know, like it's kind of just very spontaneous with that. But those two are definitely also kind of like favorites when especially at the Red Sea, because he plays those quite often when I'm not there. I've come to find out.
Okay.
So everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, do stop by!" And I did a TikTok dance to it, and that was trending for a minute, you know.
Nice.
So those are, thanks to AK for those songs.
Straight up.
And next in the discography, we mentioned it earlier before we
Yeah.
started recording, Merry Whitmas, what I called arguably the greatest holiday album of all time. So this came out
good.
Christmas, December 25th of that same year,
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration to make a holiday album?
I love holiday music. I feel like a lot of it sounds like Disney Channel. So I kind of wanted non-Disney Channel Christmas songs. Plus, I don't know a single artist from Minnesota that has done a Christmas album, let alone Christmas song.
Right.
If I am wrong, send it to me right now. I will listen to it.
Yeah,
and I will apologize.
think Chaz Kangas
you
has a
know?
good local Christmas playlist.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, it's
Okay.
but it's fire. So it's some
Happy
classics, but also some not classics. Some
Yeah.
like groundbreaking. Like this is a holiday song.
Yeah.
Yeah, the holiday parties are gonna be way different this year.
Way different. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah. Because there's a lot of great like hits. Bill Cosby wrote a lot of great Christmas hits, you know? Or Bing Cosby. I said Bing Cosby. But I kind of wanted to bring back some of the old ones, freshen them up a little bit. Not that there was anything wrong with them before. They were amazing.
Right.
And then also bring some like new spicy ones like Rich B, Saint Nick.
Yes.
That one confused everyone.
That's
and
a
I
great
love
one.
that. Be confused and
Right.
get turned, you know? And then the other one with V-Raw, she's kind of like a little sister to me. Another local artist.
Not your classic Christmas song.
No, not all your classic Christmas songs. They are definitely out there.
So if that was dropped on Christmas of 2023, when did you start making that?
Oh goodness. I think I recorded one of them in like June. Way
Wow.
before. And the last ones were the rest of them were all super last minute.
Mhm.
I had like
October,
planned,
November, right.
yeah, I had planned to record them months in advance so I could have time to record music videos for some of them,
Right.
plan some good cover art and all that. And then it was December 1st. And I'm like, wait, I haven't done anything.
Oh, right.
What am I doing? So it was kind of like a very put together, kind of fast album.
But it's fun putting together an album.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. I love putting together an album.
That's nice. Yeah, the order of the songs, super great.
Thank you.
Like going from the, like I was saying before, the traditional Christmas song into the, had never heard it before. What was the, it's like cold froze heart froze, 2 words.
It's cold outside my heart.
No.
The song?
Yeah, the
Love
song.
on Ice?
Love on Ice.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that song is crazy, and you don't see it coming.
I actually made that beat on like GarageBand, I think.
What?
You produced that?
I think I made that beat on GarageBand.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's I said very Depeche Mode,
Yeah.
like if you're a Depeche Mode fan.
Yeah.
It's a good one. And again, a
Thank
Christmas song unlike
Any
I've ever
yeah.
heard.
Yeah. I made that, I think, back in 2019, actually, when I was fumbling around with what music could be. I think that's when I made that.
Wow.
And I went back into my old iPhone and found that beat in there. And it was like 30 seconds long. And I just kind of like fumbled with it and made it into a full song.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
That was a GarageBand beat right there.
That's
So
awesome.
Don't hate on GarageBand, y'all.
And then 3 or 4 months later, your most recent single comes out, I'm Beautiful,
Yeah.
in March of 2024.
That was actually written for my school. So I go to a Veda right now, Veda Institute, studying cosmetology.
Okay.
And every couple of months they do like fashion walks. And this most recent one was a Walk for Water fundraiser. And each class got to pick a song that they walked to, show off the hair looks, the makeup looks, because there's cosmetology and osteology students. So studying both hair and makeup. So it was kind of a collaborative event with everyone to show off our talents.
Yeah.
There were some scholarships awarded to some students there. It's a super great event. I loved it. And I made a joke in class. I was like, I'll just write our song, And then they actually were totally down for it.
Nice.
So I wrote it and recorded it super, super fast.
Wow.
And I think I wrote it during class that day, actually, that I jokingly suggested it.
Oh my gosh.
And it worked out perfectly. Everyone thought it was just another song off of iTunes or something. They didn't even know it was me.
Because it's a King Gito beat?
Yeah. So they didn't even, and that's my husband.
Yes.
They didn't even know who the song was by. They just thought it was another like regular song. And at the end of our classes walk, they were like, song made by one of the students that walked, Whitney. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, wait, what?
Yeah. Blowing their minds.
Yeah. They're like, what the heck? But very empowering song. Very women empowerment song. Even not even women empowerment, everyone. Sometimes everyone needs to be reminded that they are freaking beautiful, no matter what.
And then, now knowing that all the other attachment with it as well, like, boom, now you're in like safe production environment when you're making the song. It's for this class. Like, I don't know, that's going to be a big stepping stone, I feel to launch it into what's next.
Yeah.
Speaking of what's next, before we talk about these 2 tracks that we'll close the show with, what can you tell us that's on the horizon? Anything special you can reveal for us or the fans?
So I guess one of the things has kind of already been leaked a little bit by my husband, but I am stepping into a new genre once again. With this song coming out sometime this summer. Okay. Don't have a date yet.
That's all you gotta say.
Don't have a date yet, but a new genre will be coming along with a new album.
What?
Along with a new album. And we're going to keep that one a secret too. Why not?
We're
going to keep that one a secret
too. That is so
too.
exciting. So staying busy on the return. Yeah.
And the album is also an entirely different genre than y'all have ever heard me do before. But
keeping us guessing.
Yeah.
I love
my gosh. It. But the next for sure release is More Than Friends, which is kind of like that early 2000s vibe,
Nice.
Some have heard it. So I was able to perform it at a showcase actually this past Saturday.
Okay.
So it has been debuted.
Whoa.
But
Not
there
released
aren't many recordings of it, so it's still hard to find.
Nice.
But More Than Friends will be coming up very, very soon. It's about the story kind of how me and my husband met. That spicy night.
Fun.
Yeah.
And you were saying something about having a music video for when that drops.
Yeah. More Than Friends will have a music video as well, because the only other music video I have is for you. That is the only music video I have right now. So that's another thing I need to get to stepping on is these music videos. But More Than Friends will be dropped on the same day with a music video.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Well, we can't thank you again for coming through, sitting down, and continuing to be dedicated to your craft.
Oh my gosh.
Don't stop.
Forever. No, never. Not allowed to.
Yeah.
We're going to be listening to Self Damage, as well as the track Stop By here in just a few seconds.
You can follow Whitney Starbourne at Whitney Starbourne. Look her up, Whitney Starbourne.
Support local music.
Yeah, phenomenal. Follow us, DogStar Podcast. Any last minute advice for anybody watching or for yourself in the future?
5 seconds.
Future self, don't stop. And future artists, never stop.
Hey, you heard it here. Bow wow.
Bow wow.
Did Chaz do this?
You make me fall in love, and I know exactly what it was. wasn't expecting something to hit me. Now I'm falling into your arms.
Did Chaz do this?
How did you catch me? I was running full speed, I wasn't expecting something to hit